In life, we have moments of time to prove who we are in the house of God. This is a concept I've been talking about for a few weeks. I've been trying to share some story about my life and the struggles that I've been going through. When someone decided to violate my privacy, give away information that wasn't their lawful right, and basically lie in what they said, they lied against federal law. They also lied in the way that they handled that federal law. And they ruined a life with their lies. There's always someone who's got a different opinion about someone's life, but the problem is, it's not their right to render an opinion. It's not their right to get into their records, it's not their right to get into their homes, and it's not their right to violate someone's federal rights to their lives. When I talk about this, I'm talking about it from the perspective of a man whose rights are being constantly, continually violated. Last evening, I think I mentioned in one of my audios, I was almost run over by two women who were too drunk to drive a car, but some bartender let them go and allowed them to walk out that door, planning to drive home. The smarter college students in the community in which I'm presently staying are the ones that call up an Uber or something like that, some sort of taxi service, so they know that when they're drinking, they're not driving. That's the responsible, mature adult thing to do. And yet we don't always have that maturity in people. Part of it is we're not training maturity in our educational systems. The other part is that we're not raising up souls in a way that they're meant to go. We're forcing them all through the same programming, expecting one part or the other of the programming to take, while they waste a lot of their life in stuff they can't accomplish or they can't do well. It's a problem in education. So while we might like to pay teachers more money, it's not always about the more money of just for teachers. People in retail violate our rights all the time. They literally try and take over our rights by telling people what they're going to do for us or doing things on our behalf without asking our permission. Would we mind if they called someone over to give additional assistance? And would it be okay if they provided some additional help or additional commentary about what we're asking about? What I've also found is that there is an age demographic beyond 40, between 40 and 50, that doesn't listen. Now, I could be accused that I'm not listening by someone, but they don't know that for a fact. They are not within my soul. They are not within my earshot, and they don't know precisely what my hearing capabilities are based on the fact that they are not a physician and they have not evaluated them. What I'm talking about, the fact that is as we age, of course, we lose in our hearing, and we can have diminished hearing to the point that when we're in our 80s, we need to have hearing aids. But the reality is that there's always a technology, there's always a tool, there's always a science that allows us to improve those gadgets. My father, my late father, had multiple different ones over the course of time because they either got lodged in his ear, they got lost, or the technology improved. And he had insurance to the point that it would allow him to fix those issues. But in life, if you don't have insurance, or you have insurance that you are letting pay for itself, or anything like that, you don't have the same capabilities as others is somewhat true. If you've just started working for a company, whereas you were working for yourself before, then you're behind the eight ball in a way. The employees who work for one company their entire lives or a series of similar companies their entire lives sort of feel entitled. They may have retirement, but they may not have as much to live on as they'd like to think. They also aren't thinking what their cellular health is going to be as they age and as they grow and as they essentially die and transition to the Lord, and sometimes our eyesight gets significantly worse. Sometimes our hearing gets much worse, and sometimes our ability to speak gets impacted. I know when I had the stroke in the middle of the night because when I woke up, my hand would not function. And that's kind of a common after effect of a stroke. I struggle now to do certain things that I could do easy with good ambidextrous capabilities. I've always been very good with my hands. Not a piano player by any regard, but always very good at putting things together and assembling things and figuring out puzzles and packing vehicles and all sorts of mathematical visual concepts that wouldn't allow me to do well in regular math classes. Now, in life, we have moments of time to tell parts of our story because we never know when the Lord's going to call us home. We never know who's listening. We never know why they're listening. Are they listening because they love our story? Are they listening because they enjoy our voice? Are they listening because we're providing them some sort of interesting fodder that makes them reflect on their own life of where they are in their life and how much better their life could be if they did certain things differently at this point? The truth is none of us are too old to learn, but some of us may be too old to change. But the reality is there are also people who listen to take in information so that their view of someone is completely tainted. They sometimes take in the information to harm a person, to take over controls from a person, to violate that person's federal rights to privacy of their life in legal documentation. And openly, any person of faith could be called mentally unwell because they believe in a deity they can't see. And yet, we have people who do that for a living, who talk about God all day long, allegedly, as pastors, or at least every Sunday, and sometimes Saturday evening. In life, we have moments of time to prove who we are to God. And maybe that's the only person it matters to. Maybe it only matters that we prove who we are in our own soul's code, our own soul's life lessons that the Lord has gifted us this time around. That we learned the lesson, that we got the mistake, that we understand our problem, and that we're going to try and fix it. But when we have other people interfering with our rights to technology, our rights to telephones, our rights to get online, our rights to meet people, our rights to network, our rights to liaison, and are lying to themselves about their rights to do things, I guess I'm running out of saliva here, then we really have a problem, because what we're doing is we're violating God's highest rule, which, as I've said many times, is the Lord is Lord of all, and you are not him. In life, we have moments of time to prove we are in the house of God. If you're doing anything to harm another human being's life, you will end up in hell. And that is sort of proven in the Bible. It's talked about regularly in films of Christianity. And openly, it's a common construct across many religions of the world. That karma is a bitch is something people joke about and say. And even that 4-letter or 5-letter word, if you will, is sort of profound and profane, and yet it's become a part of the public acceptability terminology. I literally have listened to businessmen cuss and curse their entire way through a presentation, and I just sit there and go, wow, where's our society gone to? That you can't produce a presentation without cussing? But sometimes in life we're passionate about something. We're passionate about our life, and we have the right to be raging when someone thinks they have the right to interfere with our right to freedom in any way, shape, or form. We have the right to be free in our own beings, in our own souls. We have the right to think whatever we choose to think. We have the right to do whatever we choose to do, and we have the right to protect ourselves however we can see fit to do so in the most logical, efficient, and time-maximizing way. You see, in life, we have moments of time to be something for someone, and when we say no to the Lord, what is it doing to our lives? Does it have a retaliation factor that we said no? It's interesting how people think about karma, but then they don't apply it to their own lives. They think about doing things to help people, but then they don't help. And they lie to themselves about what they can and can't do to help people. Sometimes you just have to say, hey, here's an email I'm sending to everybody you know. I know this person that needs this sort of help. Can anybody help? There you're being a liaison in the way for God to help that person, a liaison to the Lord. We're all liable to the Lord, I feel. I've been told that many times through my spiritual gifts, and I've gotten that impressions in listening to people lie about their rights in other people's lives. In life, we have moments of time to help someone, and as I'm drifting off because of the programming I've been given, which was against my rights, that I want people to get that this is real, that technology is used to harm people, and that we have to pay attention to cybercrime a lot more going forward in this world. We have people and foreigners from other lands who don't care 1 second about our rights to privacy, confidentiality, or building relationships in ways that are healthy for us. In life, we have moments of time to tell someone how we feel. I've reached out and done that to the girl I love, and if she's too dumb to recognize God in me and what the Lord does through me, and she thinks that whoever she's with is more magical than the Lord, then that's on her life. It's not on mine. All I can do is make a play for a wedding day, and if she accepts, wonderful. If she doesn't, she may be liable to God for that denial. In life, we have moments of time to make a difference for someone. I hope today you choose to make a difference for whoever's in your world. Thanks for listening.